What's good, everyone? So today I wanted to jump on quickly and talk a little bit about what Trinidad needs to be doing moving forward. We're facing unprecedented time across the world. We've seen recently what's happened between Trinidad and the UK, in that there's now a requirement for Trinidadians who are visiting the UK in any way, shape, capacity, whether you're transiting through the UK, visiting the UK, and transiting means that you're not landing in the UK, just using the UK to get to somewhere else, or the plane is going via the UK to go to India, Africa, wherever in the world you decide you're going to. If the plane is going to land in the UK, you are going to need a visa to come into the UK. This is absolutely ridiculous. The prices on the visa, by the way, is astronomical. So sounds like a money grab to me from the UK. The explanation given by the High Commissioner in Trinidad, or the British High Commissioner in Trinidad, is absolute nonsense. It's garbage. There has been a slight uprise in asylum claims from Trinidad to the UK, which for some reason can't be explained. People who live over here, or people who come here, listen, you can't make an asylum claim to stay in the UK or to be in the UK unless you're in the UK, right? So you make the asylum claim whilst you're here. So maybe people are making asylum claim based on the LGBTQ laws Trinidad have. We know it's anti-LGBTQ in Trinidad, but that's the only real reason that someone can make an application, I believe, from Trinidad to stay in the UK under the asylum laws as it stands. There's no other reason. The only real reason you can make, if your country is war torn, if there's wars going on in your country, if there's religious persecution, and there's something else where you can make a legitimate application to stay in the UK. Wars, religious persecution, anti-LGBTQ is obviously another reason, and we say Trinidad does have some anti-LGBTQ laws, so you can make an application under that. So the reason given by the High Commissioner in Trinidad is absolute nonsense. Don't buy it. Please don't fall for it. They're just insulting our intelligence. They are insulting our intelligence by suggesting that the reason for doing this is because there's been a substantial rise in Trinidadians making asylum claim. Now, there has been a rise. It went from something like 49 in 2022, I believe, to 2024. Between 2024 and 2025, it went up to something like 439. Now, let's put that in perspective. Anyone who's seen my previous video would know I gave you the facts, I gave you the numbers. Britain receives about 132,000 applications per year from across the world. 132,000. 439 applications from Trinidad. That's about 0.33% of the amount of claims that they receive from across the world, right? 0.33, it's nothing. And who's to say that of that 439 applications for asylum, 90% of it probably would not be approved anyway. So the guy insulted your intelligence by telling you, I don't know how many of you guys saw the video of the guy in Trinidad, the British embassy guy in Trinidad, giving the explanation as to why he couldn't even pronounce Trinidad properly. He's in Trinidad or some rubbish, as most Brits tend to, who know nothing about Trinidad, pronounces Trinidad. Trinidad, it annoyed me, the fact that he couldn't even pronounce Trinidad properly, let alone the fact that he was lying to you and insulting your intelligence. So, what do I think needs to happen now? Listen, nothing's going to happen. Trinidad's not going to fight back. Trinidad's an easy touch. They're an easy touch. I mean, they're not trading partners with the UK. They're pale in significance with the amount of trade we do with the UK. The UK could care less about whether Trinidad, whether Trinidad decides to retaliate. For example, slap visas on Brits coming to Trinidad. They could care less about that. It's nothing to them. So nothing's going to be done. People are going to rant and rave about it, and they're going to forget about it, and that will be the end of that, quite frankly. The reason I'm making this video, guys, is to suggest to you, listen, the world's in a transitional period. The world is in a transitional period as we speak. We are seeing exactly what's going on in America with Donald Trump and the madness that's going on over there. The things he's doing with tariffs on multiple countries, including the European Union, Canada, Mexico, China. America is a fallen empire. They are on their. Especially wanted to make this video because I want to go on record. So when people look back at this in 20 years' time, 100 years' time, they will see that I did predict that this is the fall of an empire. America is a fallen empire as we speak. We are witnessing the fall of an empire. And one thing we do know about empires, they all eventually fall. They all eventually fall, whether it be the British Empire, the Greece Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, you name it, they all fell. The French Empire, they all fell. The last Sebastian was, prior to the American Empire, was the British Empire. They fell after World War II. World War II happened, Britain was destroyed, most of the world was destroyed. America came out with their swords in their hand as the leaders of the world, right? They came out as the leaders and they took over the mantle from Britain. They became the next empire, right? After World War II. America is the current empire and they're on decline. They're falling. They're falling by the wayside. We're witnessing this now. You must understand this. And we must start looking elsewhere to who we, as Trinidadians, as people from the Caribbean, align ourselves with. We need to align ourselves with the African country. We need to look at BRICS. If you don't know what BRICS is the biggest collection or the richest collection of countries in the world right now. It's no longer the G7. It's no longer America and the European countries called the G7. It's now BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Nigeria recently joined as well. Brazil, BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and other countries are joining as we speak. The Caribbean, I believe Mia Motley has spoken about this as well. I believe she's a great, an excellent Caribbean leader. We need to start looking at aligning ourselves with these pacts, BRICS. We need to cut the umbilical cord away from America. Currently, it's not going to be easy, but because currently Trinidad does about 40% of its trade with America. 40% of its trade with America. We sell oil to America and we buy that oil back in refined state so we could use in our cars, our planes, or whatever machineries we need to use the oil in. We used to have a refinery, as you all know. We mismanaged that, and unfortunately, we no longer have a refinery that was once Petrotrin. I believe Jamaica's refinery is now upgrading itself, Petrojam, and I believe we are now sending oil to Jamaica, and Jamaica's refining that oil and sending it back to us. So there you go. There has been talks about an African company coming in to buy Petrotrin and take it over. The infrastructure, I imagine, is still there. So that would be interesting to see how that plays out. But if you've seen my previous video, I do have my worry about a private company coming in and buying what was once a publicly owned company. Once a company becomes private, it's owned by a private company. The public ceases to have control over that company in terms of who that company employs. Who's to say that company is not going to bring in foreign employees and Trinidad workers would be left by the wayside? Who knows? Let's hope it's not. The company that's been rumored heavily to buy it is an African company, a company from Nigeria. I can't remember the name of it. Do your research, look into it. But a company from Africa or Nigeria has been rumored to be the best option or the closest to purchasing Petrotrin. So we would see how that plays out. We've got an election coming up, so everyone's talking about, this and that and buying this. So, it's very, very interesting time. But what I want to say to you is that Trinidad needs to, or the Caribbean in general. I talk about Trinidad because I'm from Trinidad, but I mean in the entire Caribbean. The Caribbean, Trinidad, we all need to align ourselves with BRICS. We need to start looking at this. We need to realize that America is a falling empire. It's a falling empire, and we are witnessing it. I believe the next empire is going to be the Chinese, and that's just the way it is. The Chinese is already, for me, the strongest economy in the world is the Chinese economy, hands down. Hands down, the strongest economy in the world. The BRICS pact has more people than the G7. They've got a stronger economy than the G7, which is America and the European countries aligned with the G7. right? So BRICS is what we need to align ourselves with, this BRICS pact. And anyone who could get through to any of these Caribbean leaders who seem to be, I mean, we're going to have this election coming up is a bit of a joke. You have a UNC leader who refuses to lay the baton down and just call it quits. Useless leader. And we have the outgoing prime minister being replaced by Stuart Young. I mean, I don't know how this is going to play out. I know certainly if you've got any brains in your head, you won't be voting for the UNC. I don't think the PNM has done a great job either. So what's the choice really? What is the choice? But we need change. Trinidad needs we need to hold these people to account, right? We need a movement to hold these people to account, because they're not. You see what's happening in Trinidad time and time again. These people are not being held to account. We need someone to hold these people to account. They're getting away with murder in Trinidad. Time and time again, you see the same thing playing over and over again. Crime is always rising, and everything we're putting in place, all this stuff about tougher sentencing and tougher policing and blah, blah. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And that's what I feel like we're doing in Trinidad over and over again. We need this idea that we could out-police criminals, or we're going to have tougher sentencing, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to give police more powers. We've tried that a million times. That's tried and tested all over the world. Tougher sentencing doesn't mean lower crime. You go to America, you have to go to America to see that. So we have to look at the real roots and causes of crime. Why are people deciding to pick up a knife, a gun, go rob someone, and etc., etc.? And the common denominator is always poverty. Struggle, strive, poverty, low economy, social breakdown, social system breakdown, etc., etc. It aligns with that. So we need to give people, and I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for the young people in Trinidad. I watched a video of the Prime Minister not too long ago blaming young people, saying, "Oh, it's a training. The young people are trained badly." Who's training these young people? Well, you saying the parents of Trinidad are bad? You saying that the teachers in Trinidad are bad? It's their fault? Take the blame for it. We need infrastructure. We need to give people hope. We need to give them jobs. We need to give them entrepreneurship, businesses. All of these things is what's going to lead to less crime. The fact that someone's going to pick up a gun as opposed to giving them a job. If there's jobs available, we've got more than enough in Trinidad to employ, to have everyone employed and create entrepreneurship and businesses. But we're not taking advantage of that. Instead, you're being lied to by politicians, PNM, UNC, whoever it is, Gary Griffins, whoever it is, talking nonsense about, well, when I was in power, crime wasn't. Shut up, man. Crime was still high. You can't out-police crime. You cannot out-police it. Believe me, I work in that system. I understand the system. I work in it. I understand it. So we need to look at the root causes of crime. Why crime is why is escalated to what it is? 630 odd murders last year. It's going to be roughly the same this year. No state of emergency is going to fix the crime situation in Trinidad. We must do better. And I've created this network. Only got about 45 subscribers. Please tell a friend to tell a friend if you watch this video. All people seem to do is come on and criticize. I'm trying to make something work here. I'm trying to do something here from where I am. So if you could create a movement big enough to hold these politicians to account, that's what we need. We need a voice. We need a voice, because all they're doing is the same thing and expecting different results. It's madness. Nothing's going to change unless we, the people, recognize what needs to change. Tougher policing is not going to fix it. Tougher sentencing is not going to fix it. The root causes of crime. You got to find the root. It's like having an illness, right? Having an illness and just taking drugs. If you're diabetic, right, and the doctor gives you drugs, the drugs is not going to fix the diabetes. The drugs is not going to cure the diabetes, right? Insulin is not going to cure your diabetes. What's going to fix your diabetes is you going on a diet, you going doing some exercise, you cutting out sugar, you eating the right food. That's going to cure it, right? So the police is like the insulin that the government gives you. The police is the insulin they give you. It's not going to fix the problem. It's not going to fix the problem. You have to look at the root cause of the problem. Why did you get diabetes? Why are you fat and overweight? Because you're not exercising and eating sugar, eating rubbish food all the time. And maybe it's not your fault. Maybe that's all you can afford to eat. But you got to look at the root cause of it. The root cause of it is you find the root cause of the problem. Find the root cause of the problem. Anyway, sorry to be this animated. I find this it's a passionate topic for me. I love my country. Despite me living here in the UK for all these years, Trinidad is still considered my home, and I want to see it do better. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. The Trinidad Empowerment Network. We got to hold people to hold politicians accountable, and it starts here. Thank you guys for watching.